Firstly, let's take a look at that jobs report which came through. When it comes to private businesses in the States, 201,000 jobs created for the month of August, way beyond expectations. What does this mean for that non-farm payrolls data tomorrow?
Well, of course, ADP have over 400,000 clients in the US, and they do the payrolls for these private clients. So it's a very good indicator to what's going to happen tomorrow. You could say that this is one of the biggest non-farm payrolls numbers we're going to see in a while, because it's coming in closer and closer to that US election, and it's going to have a lot of sway. Of course, US employment is a massive driver. Some might even say that the US labor market is even more important than the news coming out of Europe, because of course the US consumer is extremely important for global growth.
And 70% of just the US GDP, biggest economy in the world, if you're just talking about the US.
Yes, in terms of the consumer.
Yeah.
So that's a very nice beat. Obviously, we have seen times where there's been an ADP beat and non-farm payrolls have come in below expectations. So it's not a given that that number's going to be big tomorrow, but of course we'll just have to wait and see.
So let's get your views on Sanlam, because some of the results are out today. Sanlam reporting a profit up by 15%. Just speaking to them earlier, it seems that they're really wanting to make more acquisitions. They've got 4 billion rand in discretionary capital. They're trying to sort out something in Malaysia. They're looking to still grow in India, Africa. They want to consolidate some of their positions there. What are your thoughts on the growth that we have seen so far?
Well, that's the potential for these insurers. They're trying to go into countries where people are underinsured, where there's a growing middle class. Of course, healthcare and so on is extremely important, and insuring your life, it becomes an absolute priority for people who enter a middle class. So that's where the growth is going to come from. Us as asset managers, we're not the biggest fans of the insurance companies, not because they're not good businesses, just because a lot of what their earnings actually have to do with what the markets are doing, because their premiums go from the clients and then invested into the market. So they track the market a lot. So we're not exactly looking to invest in companies that track the market. We're looking for more excitement for companies that are going to try and beat the market.
And then how would you compare a Sanlam versus a Discovery, which is tends to market itself as more innovative?
Well, exactly. We like Discovery. We've been buying into Discovery for a few years now, just because they are innovative. That vitality offering, integrating the life and the health, and also taking that up into China and bringing the vitality group into the US. You can see, as a client myself, I can see how well that model actually works. And that's where Discovery bring that kind of excitement. And it's also a play on where the state has failed in South Africa in terms of healthcare. The hospitals are very good, the private hospitals, but they're very expensive. So Discovery have been able to take advantage of that.
You go.
We mentioned the 4 billion rand in surplus capital, excess capital that Sanlam has, and it's been nursing this for a long time. It's done share buybacks, etc. You said Discovery you find far more exciting, but that 4 billion rand in capital, presumably with the strong management, and Sanlam's always been praised for their management, presumably they can do big things with that.
Yes, of course, there's a lot of potential, and that's why they're going out of South Africa. It is a competitive environment here, and they're going into the likes of Malaysia and India, of course, where they've got 1.1 billion people and very underinsured. It's
interesting. Sorry, just to jump in here. Interesting, actually, that the Indian earnings were down, only 1%, and it's still a very small part of their business. So that is area that's set for growth, they say, but they aren't seeing it at this point.
Yeah, the economy in India has taken quite a big hit. There's been quite a few policies there from the government which haven't worked, but the potential's still there, and I think that will start coming through. And of course, it's not a secret that there's 1.1 billion people there that need these kind of services, so there's going to be a lot of competition, and a lot depends on how well the Indian economy is growing and how many people enter the market where Sanlam actually offer those services.
Okay, so let's shift gears back to Impact and get your view now that we've had that discussion with Bruce Strong. What are your thoughts on the company's prospects going forward?
Well, like I mentioned to Bruce, we are looking for excitement, and a company that sort of tracks GDP is not something that we're looking to invest in. I think it's a good company in terms that there is a lot of growth potential. The shift from paper to plastic has a lot of potential, and coming off a low base. Sorry?
Would you invest at Vestact?
No, we're not buying into Impact.
Just pushing you for an answer there. Right, let's take a look at Spur Group, also results out today. Your views on those?
Yeah, it's one we like. We have preferred Famous Brands over the years, just because their brand mix is better. But again, you know, it's that whole aspirational consumerism theme that we really like. You know, people getting jobs and going and eating out and enjoying these small luxuries. And Spur, their brands aren't as good as Famous Brands. You know, the Spur brand is great, but the John Dory's and the Panarottis, I think there's more potential out there. You know, if they went and maybe made a few acquisitions and had a look like the Famous Brands guys are doing, but maybe they're a potential takeover for the likes of a Famous Brands. But I like the theme in general, but I think there's better options out there.
Thank you so much for joining us today. That was Byron Lotter, Portfolio Manager at Vestact.